What is and in the music community that you interact with and your bandmates and all that? I mean, I know you to be like libertarian leaning, I guess, and I wouldn't know how exactly you describe yourself, but do you guys get into conversations of like political theory and different things like that, especially since like a group like Arrested Development is a little bit conscious about that kind of those kind of things?
Yeah, well, we used to do it more. We would have a lot bigger discussions on the tour bus or whatever. But since we haven't been traveling that much, that we haven't gotten into it. And then our old bass player was the one that he doesn't gig with us anymore because he's blind now, so he can't travel with us. But him and Speech, my boss, would get into it, and then Farida would get into it with him, and they would go at it. And every once in a while, I would chime in a little bit, but I was, a lot of times it's just like sometimes it gets too emotional. I'm like, I don't want to have a conversation if I'm shaking by the end of it because emotions are heated, and then not that things got heated where they're yelling at each other, but you could definitely tell it's like people's hearts were into it. We love and respect each other, but we've kind of shied away from talking about it a lot. And then a lot of times, big things happen, but we're not on the road, we're not together, we're at home working, and then we get together months later. So by that time, sometimes things have passed, have kind of calmed down, or it's old news in a sense. But recently with the Rittenhouse thing,
I was just about to say that. Yeah. Tell that story, man. I saw you post something about that, about your. Yeah. Please talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was talking about the case with a famous music engineer out of LA who's worked with Prince and everybody, and dude's awesome. And he disagreed with Rittenhouse. He thought it was a tragedy that Rittenhouse got wasn't found guilty. And I understand why he thinks that, and I understand why people do think that why they they're operating through life through a certain narrative or a certain reality. That's their mindset, that's their paradigm, and I'm not operating in that realm. But I don't share Rittenhouse's politics, and I've told people that. But I'm just from human rights perspective, from just a basic, being able to defend yourself. I'm like that with anybody, even if it's a BLM, somebody, if somebody attacks a BLM protester and he, defends himself, I'm going to defend them for defending themselves, But anyway, so I just made a comment about the case. I wasn't like, yeah, Rittenhouse is awesome and blah blah blah. I wasn't wasn't that at all. But somebody went to my boss's IG page and was like, what's up with your guitar player JJ? He's defending Rittenhouse over here. And my boss was like, hey, we don't force people to think alike, And then that guy, I didn't see the response because I blocked him because he was obviously he has no idea what he's talking about and he's just being stupid. He apparently told my boss that he was a sellout or something. And so my boss was finally, his speech is just like, whatever, you obviously have ulterior motives or whatever. And me and my boss have different views on the outcome, but we're not hating each other. We're not, it's for reasons that are, our own, that, I'm not even looking at it politically. Like, I'm not looking at it from a left and right perspective, at least not in my opinion. I'm not, I'm looking at it from a different perspective. So
what is your perspective? Is it simply the self-defense, outside of the whole context of whatever was going on, when somebody steps in your realm of
if somebody tries to kill you or harm you, I feel like you have a basic human right to defend yourself with deadly force if need be. So, and to me, the deadly force should be when you really feel like your life is in danger. If somebody's got a straw shooting spit wads at you, no, I'm not going to, pull out a Glock and shoot that person thinking my life is in danger. But if they're pulling out a gun on me or, trying to hit me over the head with some piece of wood, yeah, you I'm like, okay, you're trying to kill me.